All right, everyone. Welcome to our weekly football press conference. The Blue Raiders this week will step out of conference play and travel to Liberty. The game will be at 2:30 p.m. Central and be broadcast on ESPN3. So to talk about that, I'd like to get started with head coach Rick Stockstill.
Thank you, AC. Appreciate you guys being here this morning. Like AC said, got Liberty up there this weekend, and I really believe, and this isn't coach speak, this is I think this is the best team we've played so far. They're very athletic, very fast on both sides of the ball. They got good skilled players. Offensively, it's built around their quarterback, Malik Willis. Is just a really, really good football player. He's an Auburn transfer. He's thrown 11 touchdown passes and no interceptions. He's got close to 500 yards rushing. So he's their leading rusher. Obviously, he's their leading passer. Just does a really good job. He's a bigger guy, probably 225 pounds that, breaks a lot of tackles. People get hands on him, in the passing game, and, he breaks their tackles. So we got to do a really good job of wrapping up when we get to him. He's not a burner, but he's got great vision, great change of direction, and he's so strong that he breaks a lot of tackles. So we got to do a good job with him. They got good running backs, good receivers also. So it's a very experienced offense. Their offensive line is older, and but it starts with their quarterback, and so we got to do a good job there defensively. Probably the fastest team, defensively that we've faced this year. Their front is active. Their defensive ends, their tackles, guys can run. Linebackers, secondary. They're going to come after you. They're going to blitz you. And they're going to play zones and all that. So, again, we saw it last week against Marshall. Marshall had two really special returners in the kicking game, and Liberty's got that this week also. They got a really good punt returner, and defensively, like I said, I think they're in the top 10 total defense, top 10 scoring defense. It's a really good defense. So we got to have a great week of preparation and get ready to play a good football team. So open it up to you guys.
Hey, Coach. Cecil Joyce here.
Hi, Cecil.
Coach, obviously you've been on some tough road games so far this year. How's that going to prepare you for a team like Liberty and a quarterback like Willis? Obviously, this guy touches the ball a lot. He had 15 carries, I think, his last game, on top of the 280 some odd yards passing. But how do you take the experience and not go in, with a overwhelmed mindset?
Well, we're not going to be overwhelmed. We weren't overwhelmed any place we've been this year on the road. So, I'm not worried about that. It's, 5 of our first 7 games are on the road. We played one game home in September, one game in October, and now we'll play one game start in November. So that's just the way the schedule fell, this year. And, but like I say all the time, you go on the road, you got to bring your toughness. You got to be mentally tough. It's been a long time since I played at Liberty. When I was at Central Florida, we played there, but, we were Division II back then. So I know that place has changed a lot since then. So, but it'll be a great atmosphere. It's a great challenge for us to go up there, and it's an earlier game, so we got to get up there and be ready to play. But we're not going to be overwhelmed or anything like that. We got to play better than, what we have, the last time we went on the road. And, like I said, I got full confidence and belief in this team that we will.
Morning, Coach. Sam down here.
Morning, Sam.
Briefly on the Marshall game, you mentioned post-game how you would probably grade out the defense and special teams really well throughout the entire game, but then grade the offense well for just the first half. After watching the film on last game, what sort of changed between the first and second half that made it different for you guys offensively?
Well, like I said after the game, I thought defensively we played well. We had some laps, there where, the end of the first half, there in the fourth quarter, we had some, we didn't play like we needed to or that we were capable of playing, but, overall we played well. And then offensively, the second half, the weather had a ton to do with it. We had a 2-score lead. We had a 3-score lead. We were field position, played a part in it. In the third quarter, we were backed up a little bit. And then, with the weather conditions, we didn't take a lot of chances. And we being cognizant of the clock with a lead like we had, you just didn't want to do anything to put your defense on a short field. And we did a couple times in the second half, but our defense responded, and with that sudden change and got turnovers back themselves. So, they did a better job. Marshall did when it was raining and everything, the wind is, what it was, they started overloading the box. And, it made it a little bit more difficult to run the ball. The weather made it a little bit more difficult to throw the ball. That's part of it. And then the other part is I don't think we executed as well. We had some opportunities that we didn't execute as well the second half as we did the first half.
One thing I noticed y'all were doing offensively was I think after Marshall maybe had a quick drive or two, y'all did like basically a shift change on the offensive line where you had a whole new offensive line on the field. But what brought that about? And did you think that was successful for you guys on Saturday?
Well, we went into the game, Sam, with the plan, with the idea that we were going to play those guys because we felt like, those guys playing 70 snaps, they weren't as effective late in the game in the fourth quarter, as they are when they're fresh. So I got a lot of confidence in our backup guys, and it was a plan to go in there and let those guys play. They practice too. And, so it wasn't an idea, Marshall scored, so here we're going to go with a different offensive line. It wasn't anything like that. It was a plan, a strategic plan of when we were going to substitute. We had, a couple guys that got banged up that, we brought, they came out for a little bit because of that. So it wasn't anything what Marshall did or was doing. It was more of a plan to make sure that we were rested. We were a little bit fresher, a little bit more fresh in the fourth quarter as compared to what we've been the last couple games.
Looking at Liberty's defensive stats from the week, I think they had 8 tackles for a loss in Birmingham. So really active front seven. What do they do so well to be able to get in the backfield and make those plays consistently?
They're very athletic, Sam. They're very fast. They got good quickness. They use their hands well to get off blocks. They time their blitzes really well. They'll do a lot of different things, a lot of different stunts up front. Their linebackers are active and they're involved in the blitz game. And, so it's just a very active, fast defense. And like I said, this is, in my opinion, I think this is the best team that we've played so far this year. And guys can run on defense and, we've got to do a good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. We can't play the game in our backfield. We got to get on their side of the line of scrimmage, or it's going to be a long day because they're really athletic and really active up front. So to me, we've got to do a good job of communicating up front to handle all the different things that we're going to see.
Coach, this is Chip Walters. It was the best rushing game of the year on Saturday night, and Shaitan had a big game. Where do you give the most credit for on the run game developing?
Everybody played a little bit better. I think Chase, has a little bit to do with it because they now have to be, cognizant of him as a runner. So I think, Chase is part of it. I thought our offensive line did a much better job, especially the first half, than they have this year. The second half, we got outnumbered a little bit, like I said earlier. I thought Shaitan, ran better. I thought Amir ran better. I thought Brad ran better. I thought all those guys, I thought we ran the ball better. We trusted our eyes more than what we had previously. In the offensive line. So I think you throw everybody in there, Chip. It's not just, Shaitan did this or the offensive line did this. I think it's all those components put together made it a little bit more effective for us running the ball. Guys, good?
Thanks,
Anyone,
Coach.
Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a great week.
All right, guys, we'll now begin with our student athletes, and we'll get started with safety Reed Blankenship.
Hey, Reed, Cecil Joyce here.
Hey, Cecil.
Reed, a big game coming up, obviously a very tough team. First of all, talk about containing Malik Willis. This guy's, averaging about 12 to 15 carries a game on top of well over 200 yards a game passing. What's your strategy going into that game?
Like you said, we're going to try and contain him as much as we can. We'll probably throw in a spy somewhere, but, he's a great player, and great players make plays here and there. So we're going to do our job and try to keep him contained.
Morning, Reed. Sam down here.
Morning, Sam.
Going back to Willis real quick, would you consider him a pass first guy or a run first guy from what you're seeing on film?
Honestly, I believe he's a pass first guy. He's got a great arm on him. He likes to go downfield. They got great receivers, like take shots. So I believe he's a pass first guy, but you've seen the stats. He likes to tote it a little bit here and there. So he's going to be a big challenge for us.
Yeah, I think one thing that really pops out when you look at the stat book for Liberty is just the amount of big plays they get. A lot of, 30-yard catches, 70-yard catches, 20-yard runs. How as a defense can you do your job to help contain those explosive plays more?
In the back end, just do our job, make sure we're on our guys, and let the front seven do work. Like I said, we got to contain them, and I believe our front seven can.
And now that you've had some time to sort of process Saturday night and, sort of an unusual game with all that rain out there, but just what does it feel like to be a part of a defense that had as many takeaways as y'all had that night?
You always want to be a part of something like that. I believe that this is the first time that I've ever been a part of that many turnovers. It just comes with a lot of hard work and a lot of guys that love the game of football. I love these guys to death. That we go to work every day, and I'm excited for this game this week.
The unit in front of you on the defense and the linebackers has had some guys shifting in and out because of different depth issues this year, but I've really shown out and shown a lot of different guys can play. But what have you seen from some of the new guys like Jarente, Devin coming in and making an impact?
It goes all the way back to how mature they are and how they watch film. I love those guys to death. I have confidence in them, and they're going to get their job done. They study the film. They got a great coach. Ricky does a great job with them. They understand the game, and like I said, I'm very confident. I can't wait to watch them work.
Do you like to spy the QB when that's the call? Is that a role that you thrive in, or do you think that you're better suited doing something else?
I'm more better, down the field. I'm not a quarterback spy. I handle, route runners, receivers. I handle that kind of stuff, but that handles more with our front seven.
Anything else for Reed? All right, thanks, Reed.
Thank you.
All right, guys, next up will be quarterback Chase Cunningham. And it happens to be his birthday, so shout out to Chase.
What's up, guys?
Happy birthday, Chase.
Morning,
Thank you.
Chase. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hey, Chase, Cecil Joyce here.
What's up, Cecil?
I'm doing well. First of all, talk about this Liberty defense. I know their last game against UAB, they had a great defensive battle going early until Liberty pulled away in that game. Talk about their defense and what challenges they present to you guys.
Yeah. They're a really talented defense. They got a lot of older guys back there. And, I think one of the biggest things is they move well in space. It's going to be hard to, get on the edges against them. They're really good up front and in the back end. So we're going to have to create some things up front and, run the ball, throw it on them, and we'll figure it out this week.
Morning, Chase. Sam down here.
Good morning.
One thing that really stands out with Liberty on their stat sheet is that they're able to get in the backfield a lot, get some tackles for a loss and sacks in particular. What are some ways that you can counter that as an offense to get things going early in the game?
Yeah, I think to slow them down up front, you get the ball out quick, you can establish a run game. And, like you said, they just beat a really good UAB team. And, we'll find ways this week to try and exploit what they do on defense. But, schematically, I think it's the same thing that kind of Marshall did. So, I think we'll be well prepared for it.
I was talking with Coach Stock earlier about the sort of offensive line, shift change, almost like hockey, where you had a whole new line in at different games to keep the line fresher throughout the contest. How'd you react to that when that was implemented in practice this past week? And did you think it was effective on Saturday?
Yeah, when you sub those guys, you're going to get a fresh group, and we know all those guys can play. They're all talented up front, and they did that. It was our best rushing attack yet, and I think it was great for us, to get some fresh guys in there.
You've played a big part in helping get the running game going after some struggles during the season, not just you, but also getting the running backs involved in the offense. But what's it been like for you to see the running back room, that finally have some success, after a slow start to the year?
I love those guys. They're all really talented, and they all can do, different things that they're really good at. And, they showed it the other night. Our offensive line played great. They played great. They ran hard, made some huge plays for us to come out with a win.
Yeah, I guess after playing in those elements, you're prepared for almost anything out in the football field. But just thinking back to the rain on Saturday, have you played in any rainstorm like that in your career?
Oh, goodness. I think my first start in high school was something like that. It was a mess. And as a quarterback, it's not the funnest. But, if you find a way to win, that's the only thing that matters. So we did.
Anything else for Chase? Thanks, Chase.
Thank you, guys.
Just want to remind everyone, next week, we will not have our press conference due to the open date. So we'll be back on the 18th. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks and have a great day.